not going to get. Dak Prescott hasn't proven he's earned over the $60 million he inevitably is going to get. The man has 2 playoff victories in 8 years. And so my mentality is at some point in time, results should matter. And the fact is that when they count most, Dak Prescott has been a virtual no-show. That was me, yours truly, talking yesterday about Dak Prescott and how he doesn't deserve the $60 million he will inevitably get, and how I would not be in a rush if I was Jerry Jones to sign Dak Prescott to a contract, regardless of what his contract stipulations might be able to dictate to some degree. Shannon Sharp is still in the house, and of course, the one and only Dominique Foxworth. I must confess, before we even get into the subject matter, Dominique Foxworth, I mean, the haircut, the blazer, I mean, you're looking quite dapper, my brother. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, way to go, my brother. I got to give it to you. I got to give it to you.
I mean, it's an upgrade from Bart Scott. It's an upgrade from Bart Scott because at least I got a neck. And he was on here, no neck having self, busting out that suit. Right. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be in company because I'm losing the battle up front. The line of scrimmage, we are losing the battle. I'm losing the battle, and I'm happy to be here.
I got you beat there. I got you beat there. Ain't nothing going to help me with my headline. I'm going to Hair Club for Men, though. I ain't going to apologize for it, Shannon. I ain't going to apologize for Dom. I'm telling y'all right now, I ain't ashamed to tell you.
Let's get some
Hair Club for Men, I'm coming to visit you within the next few months. Ain't no doubt about it. Let me get right into this. Dominique Foxworth, did you have an issue with what I said about Dak Prescott? And if so, please tell us why.
Of course. So, I'm generally a Dak defender. But to be honest with you, what's wrong with what you said wasn't even about Dak and his talent. It was just about managing a roster. You don't move on from a talented quarterback. No one ever does that. Lots of people sign quarterbacks that they don't want to keep and survive that way. So you think about the Rams and Jared Goff. Signed him, traded him, won a Super Bowl. You could think about the other side in the Lions. You could say Matt Stafford's career was a lot like Dak Prescott. They kept signing him, they traded him. The Eagles signed Carson Wentz and cut him, then found themselves in the Super Bowl shortly after. The Seahawks did the same thing with Russell Wilson. It just doesn't make sense. You have an asset that is hugely valuable. If you don't want to keep him, then you sign him and trade him. And at least in this season, if you sign him, it reduces his cap number. You may be committed to pay him more money, but you see Trevor Lawrence just signed a deal. His cap number went down to $15 million. There's nothing about this decision. If it was up to Jerry Jones, if Dak Prescott just refused to sign anything, but if it's up to Jerry Jones, there's nothing about this decision that makes your team better now or in the short run. We see good teams year after year sign their guys and then figure out what to do with them later on.
I'll chime in later. Go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead and respond.
Stephen A., I got to give you some relationship advice. Dominique, this is kind of like when the Cowboys are in a situation. It's like buying somebody a Birkin or a Mercedes when I'm not sure I want to keep you. Now, why would I want to invest that kind of money in you when I'm not sure I want to be with you long term? I sometimes, people keep saying, well, who are you going to find better? Well, who are you going to find this? And sometimes, Stephen A., we've all been there. We're afraid to leave a relationship because we don't know if we can find somebody better. But damn it, I'm not happy right here, right now with what I've been getting. So you know what, Dominique? I'm going to go ahead and roll this thing out because we're already in the middle of the year. And then at the end of the season, if you do some of the things that, I ask you to do, like get us to an NFC championship game, get me to a Super Bowl, maybe win the MVP, I'll be willing to, say renew my vows. But right now, I'm not in no mood to renew these vows, and I'm more apt to what? I'm just going to go ahead and part ways.
Well, Shay, you ain't in the mood to renew any vows. I'm not in the mood to make a vow. I mean, hell with all that. I mean, this is where I feel about that. Listen, Dom, I get where you're coming from, Dom. And from a business perspective, Dom, I'm not refuting anything. I was talking about his talent. I know you can't tag him. I know he has a no-trade clause. So that puts you in a very precarious position if you're Jerry Jones. And from a strictly business perspective, Dom, I'm not disputing that. I can't argue with you about that. You know this a hell of a lot better than me and most other people, I might add. But what I'm asking you to take into consideration, just from a player's perspective, as much of a stud as this brother is during the regular season, this guy has the highest winning percentage of any quarterback who's never made a championship game appearance in NFL history and winning 64% of his games. We can't ignore that. He's tied for the worst postseason record as a starting quarterback in the National Football League in history, okay, with a 2-5 postseason record. I'm looking at the brother, and one of the things that I pay attention to, Dom, his first 4 years in the NFL, right, when he only made $4.9 million, okay, he had 2 Pro Bowl appearances, all right, and had 1 playoff win. In the last 4 years, where he's made $157.4 million, okay, the brother has only 1 Pro Bowl appearance and 1 playoff win. You got to be kidding me. I'm looking at those kind of things when it comes to Dak Prescott, whose cap hit is going to be $55.1 million. I understand if you pay him, the cap dips. I get that the cap hit dips. But I'm just looking at it, man, and I'm saying, damn, the level of production. Did you know, Dom, according to Pro Football Focus, did you know this? Let me read this to you. According to Pro Football Focus, Dak Prescott came in the National Football League in 2016. His 66.3 grade is the second worst in the league, ahead of only Lamar Jackson. Now, we know, even though Lamar Jackson has had his issues, the brother was just in the AFC Championship game. That has not been the case with Dak Prescott in 8 years. It's a problem, Dom. It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate Pro Football Focus, but those numbers ain't right. If he's in a company with a 2-time MVP, that's some good-ass company. So we can leave that there. And if we are talking about, we move the business aside, I'm fine with having this conversation about Dak Prescott. And I enjoy Shannon's, his relationship analogies. But the difference is, once you go in the open market, you got your choice of everybody on earth. The problem with that is here, there aren't better quarterbacks. And I understand that some of you might have the confidence that you can go make another one. That remind me of that old Jay-Z line. If you made me, then you can go find another one. And there ain't no other ones. They're going to be embarrassed. It was hard to find him, just like it's hard for everyone to find quarterbacks. So I'm with it.
Really?
If you want to completely rebuild,
really?
But that throws off your timeline. Right now, go ahead.
You saying that when you got 1 playoff victory and 2 playoff victories in 8 years? You trying to tell me I don't have a shot at finding somebody that could do that? Come on, Dom.
Yeah, he's not Mahomes, Fox.
It's not boxing.
I'm sorry, Fox. He ain't
It's
Mahomes.
not boxing.
Well, he don't have to be. You say Shannon, he ain't
boxing,
Mahomes,
guys.
but
It's a whole lot of reasons. It's a whole lot more explanation for why they are not winning these games right now. I think that I agree with you. There are better quarterbacks than Dak Prescott. I don't believe that it's going to be easy to go get one. And if you want to do a complete rebuild, that's fine. But the problem with doing a complete rebuild is this roster has talent on it now. You are blowing some prime years from Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs. You're just throwing those prime years out because you will not have someone as good as
Dom, here's
Dak
the deal.
Prescott at quarterback.
Shannon, I'll get to you in a second. I'll throw it right to you in a second, Shannon. But listen, Dom, I get where you're coming from because football is a very complicated sport. One person doesn't lose it for you. I get it. Offense, defense, special teams, multitude of positions. We get all that. I understand that. But let's go to the Green Bay game last year. Don't give me numbers that were accumulated at garbage time when you were down by 30 plus in the fourth quarter, okay? 87 the first half when the Dallas Cowboys were down 27-7. 87 passing yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 47.2. That was Dak Prescott in a playoff game. Knowing once again, after a 12-5 season, you got to show up in the postseason, and the brother was a no-show. At some point, Dom, can I look at him and go like this? Yo, I can find somebody that can win me a playoff game potentially. I also can find somebody that can give me the same results that might cost me about $30 million less. I can't do that, Dom. I can't do that.
Last year's playoff game, I can't defend. It was bad. He's also had good playoff games. But what you don't understand is there are a bunch more teams in this league that ain't sniffing the playoffs because they don't have a quarterback like that. So by all means, you just have to understand the risk that you are taking. Right, Shannon?
Okay. Go ahead, Shannon.
You talk about that playoff game, but what about the year before in San Francisco? And what about the year before that in San Francisco? I mean,
Dallas.
no, not the year before that was in San Francisco. The year before that was in Dallas. And the year before that at the Rams. And the year before that at home against Green Bay. At what point in time has Dak, when you said, look, I get it. When he played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we all saw that happening because the Bucs defense had been terrible all year. Their offense had been inconsistent. So everybody saw, the Cowboys going to stop the Bucs. But when every year, the 49ers, what was that? The 49ers, what was that? Last year against Green Bay, what was that? His first year, I understand he was a rookie. They went to Green Bay, beat the brakes off Green Bay and Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers come right back down to the playoffs and do a number on them. They come out here to the Coliseum to face the Rams, did a number on them. At what point in time are we going to hold them accountable? You give him all the credit for these empty calorie stats. Well, he didn't play bad. He threw for 432. Yeah, but they was down by 17. They was always down by 3 scores
bad
when Dak was doing all that 255 yards passing. Come on, Dominique.
He was bad last year. I'm not going to argue that he was good. And Aaron Rodgers didn't do nothing to Dak Prescott.
He was bad the last 3 or 4 years, Dom. He was bad the last 3 or 4 years. He played well. He played well in the playoff loss against Aaron Rodgers, and he played well against Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Every place else, nah.